So what are your goals in coaching? And when you either just generally speaking or when you get with the client, what are your goals?
So my personal goals is for them to have breakthrough every session, right? Something that they walk away with. Now that can be frustrating. That can be difficult. Some clients get there a little bit easier than others. Sometimes we get there too early. I'm like, oh wow, we should have planned something else. But sometimes we take a long time to get there. So
Mm,
but my first goal. So what I've learned to do is to listen, and that's deep listening, like not for just what was said, but what was implied as well. And
mm,
to ask questions that nobody else will ask them. Why'd you do that? What were you thinking when you did that? I'm a pretty nice guy, so I'll start it off with now when I ask this question, I want to ask a tough question. You know, um, were you frustrated when this happened? Were you anxious about this? Were you trying to accomplish it? Did you get what you want? I want to ask
mm,
them questions, Walter, that no one else will ask them during the day. Either questions about what they wanted, what they need out of this, or questions that challenge them as well. If you think
mm.
about a good coach, right? Coaching is about stretching people. And if you should be stretched when you talk to me, not insulted, not, you
Yeah,
know, you know, uh, uh, not insulted, but just
right.
stretched.
But I mean, just I think back to, every sport I ever played, basketball, football, track. Um, the coaches, in order to stretch you, have to make you uncomfortable,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And that, I know you don't want, you're a nice guy, and you don't want to be rude or mean,
right.
but you do have to make people uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What were you thinking when you thought this? Did you try saying this type of way? Let's record this, and that way you can play it back to see how you sounded, right? And
Mm,
that sometimes can make people a little bit nervous, right? Make people a little bit,
yeah.
especially with video and audio recording. But it's there for them to reflect on, and that's something I've used very. I had a client running a global summit, and some of the people were reporting some of the information, their presentations out to them. So we recorded some of it, got video, got audio of it, and it worked out very, very well for them. The opportunity to play things back, to really put a little polish on those presentations that only three people are here, but it might be the most important three people, you know?
I mean, back to the sports analogy, it's like, the football team, you study the tape, you see how the
Mm-hmm.
plays were run, you see, where mistakes were made, even
Absolutely.
if they're like marginal mistakes, that's room for improvement. So like, that makes total sense. Um, are you finding, that you're achieving your goals?
Yeah, I am. I do find myself having to go back to the well, right? So it's funny. You ever read the book The Alchemist?
It's on my list. I've not read it actually. I'm
Yeah,
ashamed
so
to say, but yeah.
it's a short, short kind of fable like book, but a philosophy in The Alchemist is that sometimes when the universe kind of works in your favor when you
Mm,
are a new, start things out new. And
mm,
I've watched coaches struggle to get their first client. But I got my first clients pretty easily through my first paid clients,
mm.
through LinkedIn, right? Through
Okay.
years and years of putting together a network. So some things I kind of got easily. The universe worked in my favor. Now it's like going back to the well to make sure that I'm replenishing, sharpening the saw,
Mm,
right? Like that I'm reading up on techniques, right? Not doubting that I know what I need to do because my instincts tell me what to do. I coach people for years in the private sector, but like always challenging that I'm asking the right questions, that I'm asking more than telling, that I'm
mm.
that I'm listening deeply. I had an experience very very on. I got this new client. He had someone I worked for. And I think about this. I worked for him.
Wow.
Yeah, he was CIO of an organization that I worked for,
A
and he came to
student
me as a
becomes a
client.
teacher.
Yeah, right. And then I blew it. I showed up one day. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have. I was tired from the night before, and I showed up, and I didn't bring it, and I lost that client. And I
Wow.
remember that all the time. That I have to bring it. I have to. So I would before every meeting from that point on, when I realized my mistake, and they don't tell you that that's what happened. You just kind of figure it
Right.
out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So before every every session, I started doing this little dance, like, okay, one, another opening, another show, like to get ready, right? Because
Yeah.
reminding myself, I need to bring it. I need to be listening. I need to be engaged. I need to bring energy. I need to be prepared, right? And that's what I have to make sure that I'm doing every time. I can't say I achieve it every time, but I can say I have never lost another client based on not bringing it, right? So
Yeah. No, that's what's up. And that just fits in with, sort of like the old saw or the common wisdom that, the L's that we take or the losses, those are the lessons that stick with us,
absolutely.
So for sure. And it's funny, about like the dance before you go. A lot of people don't know this, but like, when I was young in my career, I would show up to job interviews early, and I'd be in the parking lot, and I would play the most braggadocious,
Right.
narcissistic Jay-Z records I could find. And I would like just be in the car, like reciting those lyrics, which are basically like self-affirming that I'm the greatest and I am great. So that when I walk into that room, I'm exuding that positive energy, right? That confidence. So I totally get that ritual, right? I had a very similar one. So a little bit earlier, you mentioned